Welcome, everybody, back to Campaigns Concoctions, where we are a bunch of deviant delinquents who like to drink and play TTRPGs.
Woo!
Fun one. I had to make that one. I didn't plan that well enough. But thank you so much, as always, for joining us on this adventure of cooperative storytelling. As always, if you want to get in and enjoy this to its fullest, you can hit the link in the show notes and get on our interwebby things. Hit the Discord, the Instagram. That's all the good fun stuff. Really excited to get going back again. We are on episode 26, like, if you can believe that. Like, I actually had the conversation of trying to explain to people that this has been over a year we've been doing this, and they just were blown away. So, before we roll into our adult beverages, does anybody have anything that they want to share? They've got anything that they want to do?
Yeah. No, I managed to get some time to paint some minis, so there's some fresh content on Instagram and in Discord. Also want to just thank Inurik. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Like, he's just a big part of the Discord conversation and posting really cool stuff on there. So thank you to him for just being part of our community. I really appreciate it.
His mini's really cool.
Yeah. So
awesome. Well, yeah, as always, thanks out to the Discord community. I mean, we've got a little bit of everybody in there. It's probably not the most active of the Discords. I have a couple that are like 1,000 people, and we're just not going to compete with that. But
I don't want to.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I've turned off the notifications to every big Discord I've been in.
Yeah, so but it's pretty awesome because it's really low key. I mean, we got everyone from, as we talked about earlier. We got the Balmer's Peak distilling guys in there. We've got mini guys, people who are learning how to play D&D, all kinds of good stuff. So it's really, really fun. Just go ahead and get in there. Go ahead and post. We're pretty friendly, so at least what I like to think we are. So, but with that, we have drinks. Let's go ahead and what's our drinks for tonight, gentlemen?
all right, I'll go first. So I came across this on Imbibe. It's a gin cocktail called Number 2 Fleet Street. It's an ounce and a half of gin, kind of like a American style, like aviation, right? That's the right description for that.
Yep.
An ounce of pineapple juice, half ounce of lemon juice, half ounce of yellow chartreuse, 2 tablespoons of simple syrup. I am missing that. It calls for 10 coffee beans. I didn't have coffee beans, so I just used like 1/8 of an ounce of a coffee liqueur we have here, St. George's, just to kind of make up that difference. I thought it was missing a little sweet, and that's because I didn't put it in. So, but yeah, it's still really good.
There's one more. I know.
The other one we have is a mild riff on the monastery. I call it the Black Monastery because it has black currant in it. 3 basil leaves, 1.5 ounce of the slivovitz, 1/2 ounce of lime juice, 1/2 ounce of agave in the raw, and then about a teaspoon of black currant jam. Muddle the basil, add everything and ice in a shaker. Shake, strain through a fine mesh, and then garnish with a freshly slapped basil leaf. Dustin finished his already?
Yeah. It took him about 45 seconds.
That's good.
Plum-based
cocktail,
and Dustin finished it quickly. Shocking.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I made a double.
He finished off a plum brandy cocktail in 45 seconds. We're very beside ourselves.
Yeah. So cool. Well, we are somewhat more separated than usual. Matt is not with us this week. He got an opportunity for a free place to stay, and you can't turn that down when you get a chance. And then Curtis and family are recovering from sickness, and so he's off at his place doing dad things and hopefully feeling better. But he is with us virtually, as I always am. So I think that's everything that we have to recap the last time that we were together. The party went to Brosick Wraithbeard's house, where they met a crotchety old dwarf whose voice destroyed my throat for a week.
No.
And then Elle and Heath made a few things while the rest of the party explored and talked about things, and we all came back. And then it's amazing how little it was a whole episode, and that's really kind of it in a nutshell. So but the party began its trek towards the rumored location of a possible location to the Mortar and Pestile of the three ladies. It is morning. The heat hasn't fully begun to sink into the sands of the desert. The blood teeth are the color of their namesake in the early morning sun. What would you guys like to do?
We're headed for where we think the Mortar and Pestle is.
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay.
I don't remember where that is, but Skell probably does.
It was a cave somewhere to the opposite direction we were at.
Kind of.
The Tinker House, the town, and the cave. It makes kind of like a triangle.
Okay.
Yeah.
It added half
That
a day
about right.
to our journey.
And they're all generally about a half a day from each other. Also, just as a reminder, your characters would probably know this, but you guys probably forgot. You are owed some money from Yalgren, the Dragonborn in town, for making a delivery.
Yeah.
So,
You want to go get our money first? I kind of sometimes I like to
Yalthor, not Yalgren.
Yeah, Yalthor. I kind of sometimes like to leave money with people that owe it to me. It's kind of like, it's like if you took your money and you put it somewhere safe where people couldn't get a hold of it for
That
later
people
on
is
when you
you.
need it.
Yeah, that people's you.
Yeah, but they owe it to us. And if they lose it,
Yeah.
that's not our problem. They still owe it to us.
Yeah, that's what we're describing, is that you burn holes in your pockets.
Oh. Wait, so you give it to me to hold on to? That sounds like a terrible idea.
Oh yeah, no one would give you money to hold on to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I want to save money, I just don't collect from a client, or from somebody who owes me money. And then that's like it's a good way to save up for something big. I can just go call in all the money that other people owe me.
You're diversifying your bonds.
That's right.
With
Yeah.
people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we were debating on the fact that we might be coming back with something chasing us, we may want to pick it up now.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a pain in the ass to get out here. We have other places we were going to head after this.
I suppose you're right. But you never know when we're going to come back here, though.
I didn't say we weren't going to at any point.
Right.
I just like my money sooner rather than later.
That's fair.
It's harder to spend it if you don't have it.
He's still smarting
Yeah.
from his half fallen down.
That was
George.
that was the point of what I was saying, was so we don't spend it.
Yeah. I know.
I know.
So what are you guys doing?
I think we're heading towards the cave.
We're going to skip Yalthor's? We're going to come back in.
No, we're going to go to Yalthor's first. Sorry, yeah.
All right, we'll go to Yalthor's first.
Okay. So, as you guys head off to Yalthor's, the town is slowly coming alive as the townsfolk are setting out their stalls for trading. The bakeries and the local restaurants and inns are starting to do a little bit more brisk trade. As you come up to Yalthor's shop, you open up, and it's pretty much an identical replica to the day that you first came in here yesterday, or 2 days ago. Sorry, 2 days ago, where he's sitting in the back corner in that chair with the table, And here looks like he's got a small plate with what appears to be a croissant and some coffee. And he looks up, glasses sitting on his little snoot. Well, it seems that you all have survived the last couple of days. I'm assuming you're here for a little bit of recompense for your work.
Absolutely. Wraithbeard, right?
Yes,
No.
yes.
Wraithbeard, quite a unique individual.
He's a dick, but he pays well.
I actually made friends with him. They did some science experiments together and succeeded in not blowing some stuff up and made a cool potion.
You can absolutely be friends with someone who is a jackass. It is totally possible.
Factual.
I actually consider him a friend myself. However, that does not negate the fact that he is a
An
dick.
irredeemable prick. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. A little bit.
But again, what was the agreed upon rate that I owed you?
That is a great question.
This is why I don't remember the money, because I was like, I don't remember this conversation. Yeah, that's for that.
I really don't think I wrote it down, to be honest.
I don't know if there was ever a conversation about recompense. He just
I
asked
believe
us
it was 150 gold.
Something like that.
So he very similar to when he brought out the tea that first day that you met him. Very, subtly and sophisticated, a little twirl of his clawed finger, and a pouch appears in the air and gently thumps into the palm of his hand. And he says, "Who would like to collect?"
I'll go ahead and take it. I'll divvy up to as we proceed on our journey this morning.
Well, as always, I will tell you, you are most welcome back here at the shop. It was a nice change of pace to have some outsiders. It has been quite some time. He does that little, how when people make business cards appear,
Mm-hmm.
they do that magic trick, except for he actually is doing magic.
It's literal magic, yeah.
It pops up in his finger, and he has, for you, and he hands to you, Sid, a card. It's black. And it doesn't appear to be anything on it, but it is very substantial. Like it's the normal weight of paper, but it feels and looks like super substantial. And he flicks it with his middle finger, and scrolls in like gold leaf appear on it, and it says "Purveyor of ancient texts and scrolls, Yalthor Gorlak, Straywitch."
Okay. Thanks, Yalthor. We'll have a feeling we'll be back at some point. And if anybody is in need of scrolls or books, we'll send them your way. You've been quite the resource and friend.
It's always interesting to meet new people, especially those not from the continent. It's much appreciated, and I hope the rest of your journey goes successfully. He gives he is fully dressed like he's one of those guys that never takes off his suit jacket. He's that kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
But he's got one of those really long that kind of goes down to the back of his knees kind of overcoat, and he gives a very suave and overly flourished bow to the six of you. Sorry, I've got too many tables in my head. The six of you, and surprisingly, the glasses do not fall off his face when he bows. But he says, "Until next time." And he turns back around and goes back and opens up his book. And I mean, he is a fairly large fellow, so he's got like an average sized book. It looks super tiny in his hand.
I give him a like a slight bow back, and we'll catch you later, Yothor.
At this point, he's already engrossed and just kind of like, yeah, kind of like that,
I'll turn and head out the door. And
Yeah.
we'll start heading towards the caves.
Start heading out.
So as you make your way through town, the scent of baking bread, bacon, all this stuff that you generally associate with Haven, but everything's got just a slightly different bouquet to it, right? Because being here, it doesn't have the salt water that kind of imbibe or imbues everything like Haven does. It's a little bit spicier on the air, the dirt and the dust and the heat. But there's also a surprising sweetness to the air as well. As you exit town, you come to that same intersection, one where you turn left to go to Brossick's house, and then another one right, which you believed would lead you to the cave. What is your all's marching order? We'll put SOA in the middle.
I assume I'm probably in the middle with SOA.
Okay.
Sid and I usually hang in the back.
Yeah.
Sark's probably out front.
Yeah, and I'm right on Sark's shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Sounds right.
Like just ever so slightly behind him.
As long as I don't need to randomly disappear.
It's going to be very difficult because it's really just kind of baked earth and Scrabble at this point where you guys are at. But as you continue to march on, eventually there are a few clouds in the sky as the day begins. But as the couple of hours go by, the clouds dissipate to a pristine blue sky. However, there is no shade. And as the heat continues to rise, it is exceedingly uncomfortable. Which, because at least when you're on the sea, there's the spray of the salt water or the humidity. Here, it's just a dry, horrendous, unrelenting heat.
It's where I grew up. Basically, just where I grew up.
I was thinking more Yemen.
So very similar.
Very similar to where you grew up.
Pretty much the same place I grew up. Yeah. It's the same desert. It's just on opposite sides of the planet. That's all.
Pretty much, and about the same amount of gunfire.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
The day, even though the heat is oppressive and does slow you down a little bit, it doesn't take long before you reach the outskirts of the Bloodtooth Mountains. And as this is to the north of you, you don't benefit from the shade that is on the northern side of these mountains. However, as you look, you notice that there is probably going to be a fairly good number of caves set into the base of these mountains. What would you guys like to do?
Can I kind of determine, do we have a description of like the cave we were looking for at all?
There was a vague one, but what I'd let you do is to roll a history check,
Okay.
a history check to see what you recall of the information.
Nat 20.
Oh shit!
Man, starting already. Fuck.
Drink, motherfucker, drink.
Right.
Drink, motherfucker, drink, motherfucker, drink.
My second Nat 20 of the campaign, I think.
Cheers.
And the very first roll of the day.
Yeah.
That's either ominous or perfection,
boding.
right?
Right. Yeah, it's an omen one way or the other.
Jared's on keeping track duty.
So yeah, Mark, you're totally legit.
Marker in a second.
We're going to need to, at some point, I think when we do episode 30, we'll have to post it in the show notes, how many, like all the different ones that we've had. Because our audience is growing, and I'm sure they're interested. And that was one of the fun things that Curtis has instilled was the Morgan's bullshit 20s and completely valid ones, and then y'all's 20s and ones. It's awesome. I think it's really fun. So it's something that definitely sets us apart. You know, there's the groups that puff pass on the 20 and we drink on the 20. So
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so that's a flat 20 though total.
So you remember that the cave itself seems to, the description that you have places it at a slightly lower elevation than the rest of the terrain. So there's going to be some sort of downhill slope. Also, you remember that you were looking for a magical item.
Can I see if there is like anywhere like a downward slope where possibly like deer or elk type of animals would traverse down?
Like an animal trail?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check for me, please.
Oh, not so good. That's gonna be a 9 total.
So you actually find multiple tracks, about 7 of them. It looks like this is a generally like the path that you guys have been following is a general sentient made path, and kind of here it kind of splits out, and you find small like kind of like animal style trails or where people are walking single file. You found about 7 of them. So while you're excited to find a trail, you also now have too many options to just pinpoint.
Hey, can't you just sort of see magic things? Is that a thing you can do?
Yeah, sometimes.
You want to try seeing if there's magic shit around?
It's gonna take a minute for me to get set up, but sure. Well, I'll cast Detect Magic as a ritual.
How long does that take? 10 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
An
one
hour?
action, so it's
10 minutes plus.
10 minutes plus. Yeah. 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
So also as he's doing that, as we're waiting, just can I just kind of look around, like realizing the folly of my first kind of inclination, just look around for like any like runes or any like trail markings or something like that.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check on that one.
Can I also do that or assist with it?
Yeah.
Sure. So either roll with advantage or John can roll as well.
What role was it? You said
Investigation or perception?
Still.
Yeah.
Oh,
This. Yeah, you might as well. I wasted my good roll. It's gone.
13.
I got 12.
So
Not
you
good.
don't see any runes or trail markings. However, as you look a second time, you notice that so if you're looking from left to right, the third trail in seems to be a little bit more traveled. So it seems a little bit more used.
Do we think it's going to be a place where more things go or where less things go?
He did I believe Yothor said, was either Yothor or Wraithbeard said that several expeditions have gone after this item and none have returned. So it might actually be a little bit more traveled.
Are there any tracks coming out?
Not humanoid. Or
Seems
sentient.
like the right place. Yeah.
Okay.
Seems like the right place.
I think this is the best lead we have. Let's see what L comes up with.
So the 10 minutes pass L. What's the range on that? 30 feet?
Yep.
And it stays up for an hour, right?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. Well, at the particular moment, you do not find, there's nothing that pings you except for what is in the party.
I don't see any magic near here, but stone also blocks it. So if it's in a cave,
Okay.
probably not going to see shit.
Fair.
It only takes about a foot of stone or so for me to not be able to see anything through it.
How far can you see with that?
About 30 feet. So not much farther than where we're standing.
Got it. Let's head in. I think we should head in.
Following the more used trail.
Yeah.
So at this point, you probably about 100 feet away from the base of the mountains. And as you follow in, it's going to take you, what is that, about 3 minutes to get to the base. As you continue forward, you eventually do get a ping of magic in the direction that you were traveling. Right as you were about 15 feet from the wall of the mountain. And the leader of the group, I believe that was Sark, would notice that at this point the ground is gently sloping downhill, and you can actually now see the outline of a cave, a dark entrance into the foot of these mountains.
There's definitely magic there.
And
I recognize the school of magic.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember it off. I believe it's transmutation. It's whatever, like. Hold on.
Transmutation converts things.
I don't think it's it's a kind of a weird thing. So.
Abjuration.
It's not abjurations for sure. It's protection. Schools of magic. It might be evocation or conjuration.
What you?
It is, I will tell you in just a second as I'm pulling things up. I should have had this prepared because I was totally set for you guys to do this. That was kind of the hope. It's conjuration. Sorry, conjuration.
That's an odd thing. There's conjuration magic that way, within about 30 feet.
Let's go check it out.
Yeah, you have fun and go poke the magic thing. See what happens.
Sark's
I'll
just
be
gonna
back
kind
there.
of try and fade away as we move up to the entrance. And
What is the thing?
I don't know. It's conjuration.
What does that mean?
Make something here that wasn't here.
Where's it at?
That way.
He points down the trail.
Yeah.
You can't tell what it is?
That's about all I can tell you without looking at it.
I will say,
Can you see it from here?
I can't even. I'm just trusting your guys' word that there's a cave there.
Sark can see a cave for sure.
I'm gonna throw a Eldritch Blast in that direction.
Okay. Are you putting it into the cave or?
I'm gonna hit to the right of the cave.
Go
And then
ahead
I'm
and roll an attack
gonna
roll.
watch.
I mean, because mountains do have ACs. They're just really low.
I mean, it's like a 10.
Yeah, you hit, obviously. Like, I think you have to have a negative attack roll, but you have
To miss
gotta
them out.
roll, right?
Right.
So because it's a stationary object that has
That's a
negative-
12. It's a 12.
you're gonna hit and do the maximum amount of damage, and you create a very small like rock slide that falls down the mountains a little bit where you hit. Nothing else really happens that anyone can notice.
Was that you or something else?
That was me.
Okay.
probably it.
yeah, I'm going to sneakily go up to the left side of the cave.
I'm like,
Go ahead and make a stealth check.
I'm gonna be on the left side.
What was that? Sorry.
Stealth.
17.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm gonna walk up to about 50 feet from the mouth of the cave in plain sight.
You guys are about 15 feet at this point
Oh.
away. Like you guys are pretty close.
Walk up to the mouth of the cave and look inside.
So as you look inside, it takes a minute for your eyes to adjust.
I
But
have devil sight.
you have what sight?
Devil sight.
Devil sight.
Adjust.
I see
know
everything.
I know what it does.
Yeah.
Your eyes still take time to adjust from being outside to a dark area.
Yeah.
It shows up different.
Even more of a reason for there be a transition time.
Well, it's like when you
predator vision, things have to change.
when you have night vision, right? If you have a flashbang, you're still going to be blinded for a little bit. You have enhanced vision, but there's so this is also a chance for me to kind of figure out what's going on, right?
I don't think I can be blinded.
Yes, you can. You just can't blind yourself through magical darkness.
No, you can see through both magical and non-magical darkness. So
Gotcha.
You can still be blinded.
yeah. So yeah, it takes a minute. It takes a minute for the dark vision bit to pop in, right? But it's weird when you look in, right?
You only see
Right.
You can only see about 10 feet in front of you. And then 10 feet in front of you, there is kind of this weird swirling mass of a thing. It's kind of like almost like cloudy water.
I turn back over my shoulder and I go, I need somebody who does magic.
If I walk closer to that, is that registering as the same thing, getting closer?
Yes.
Yeah, the swirly thing is the conjuration. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Should I shoot magic into it?
Elle takes like 10 steps backwards and goes, yeah, you should.
I go, let's try the scientific method, yeah? And I pick up a rock and I throw it in.
And it just goes, you watch as it kind of when the rock passes through, it separates almost like fog and mist. But you don't see anything, and then eventually it kind of coalesces back together. But you hear a muted like sound of a rock hitting another rock, like a hitting a stone floor.
Might just be living things.
I take a dagger and I throw the dagger through it.
Same thing. Kind of like it separates like mist or fog, and then you hear the sound of metal clanging against stone.
Okay.
Can I see through like the fog at all?
Nope.
No.
If Sark or Scald can't,
Yeah,
no one can.
Yeah.
We didn't pass any like desert hares or anything on the way over, did we?
At least not within a close proximity to this place.
I'm going to cast the cantrip light on a rock and throw it through.
Okay. So as the rock lights up, throw it through. Same thing. The mist separates and everything, and you don't see the light anymore. But you do hear the muted sound of stone hitting stone. It's almost like the sound is being, transmuted muddled through water.
Interesting.
I'm gonna walk pretty close up to it, like within like 3 feet.
Okay.
And I'm going to use gust to try to like blow into it. The object, it says I can create a small blast of air capable of moving one object that is neither held nor carried and weighs no more than 5 pounds. Object is pushed up to 5 feet, pushed up to 10 feet away from you. It isn't pushed with enough force to cause damage.
So as you cast the spell, it's mostly an inky blackness, but with kind of like silvery threads that are spinning. The silvery threads dissipate to inky blackness.
Oh, shit.
And then return back as they start to spiral again.
Did it seem like it's okay? It seemed like it went deeper than 10 feet, right?
Well, the air moved. It
Yeah.
moved through the object.
Good.
Can I look around the edges of it and see if there's anything, like any runes or something on the edges that might be causing it? Or
Go ahead and make an investigation check with advantage.
Can I look around for any like lizards or snakes or field mice?
Sure, make a perception check.
It's a 27 on the investigation.
It's a 15 for
No,
perception.
so Skjald, you're not seeing any animals at this point,
Shit.
which is telling in its own way.
Outside of the cave is where I was.
Even
looking.
then, it's
Yeah.
pretty barren of animal life. So
All right.
that is telling in its
Yeah.
own way.
All right. Well-
I turn to Sark and I ask him, "Hey, you remember when you drop kicked that dragon-looking thing through a hole in space?"
Oh shit.
Fondly. Quite fondly.
I know we don't have another dragonkin type thing with us here at the moment, but this seems similar to me.
So,
Mm.
L, as you are inspecting in this conversation with Sarkin and Patrice is going on. No, you don't see any kind of runes or anything like that, but it does seem that the darkness and the kind of that silvery swirl actually penetrates into the rock a little bit as it goes around.
Does that give me any more information that I may recognize what kind of spell this is?
This is it was a 27, right?
For investigation, yeah.
So this is definitely some sort of portal.
Makes sense.
To confirm Patrice's thought process.
Do you say this out loud?
As that conversation is happening and I'm looking around at it, I'm just gonna, I think Patrice might be right. Pretty sure this is a portal to something.
I'm gonna look over at Sark and then be like, "You want to go? I'll go with you."
Sark's like, pulls out pitons and starts driving one into the ground and hooking up ropes.
I pull a silk rope off of my bag and I hand it to you. I tie one end of I tie a loop around myself and I hand it to you.
Anchor outside.
And I leave like 10 feet of rope or 15 feet of rope on one end and hand it to you to tie around your waist. And then I tie around my waist and then I hand the other, 40 odd feet back behind me to whoever's hand reaches out for it.
One thing I would like to note is that Nate used the proper pronunciation of the word piton.
Yes, he did.
We come from a climbing culture, essentially.
We did.
And so
Trust
it's
me,
part
that
of our
there
lexicon.
was a show where they
I thought it was Python.
used
Shut up, Mercer.
it grates on my ear.
I'm gonna pull out one of his and go a little ways away and hammer that one in so we can run the rope through. Since there's two big people on it.
It's also not the first time that Sark has done something this questionable.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go dive through it. I'm going to say, stand here, don't go in yet, and then go and hope I may pull you in. We'll see.
Are the two of you walking side by side or
behind him?
He's probably going to be a little steps behind me because I'm going to go jump through the middle.
Yeah, I'm going to be about 5 to 10 feet behind him.
As the two of you enter the portal, you feel it's almost like entering a pressure curtain. Like when you enter into a room that has a higher air pressure. So like a research facility or something like that. You guys do remember this slightly when you guys were exploring the facility underneath Haven. Is very much like that, but this one is a little bit more significant. And as the two of you enter, you find yourself in a somewhat similar cave, except for instead of like malted browns, like everything is slate gray. And the walls of the cavern are moist with water as there's almost a constant flow of water coming down.
I'm gonna pull out the sending stone that Sark has the other end of.
Not anymore.
Did you give it back?
No, we left it with Captain McKenzie so we could call
Oh, that's right, we did leave it. Yeah, never mind. Actually, you know what? I've got another one. I'm going to make another set of sending stones because I've got another infusion that I haven't used. I'm just going to pick up two rocks off the ground and throw one of them through. See what happens.
Same thing. You hear the clank, clank, clank. So Sark and Scald, you hear a clatter as a stone hits the ground, tink, 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 and comes to roll. Someone roll a d6 for me because my dice are over there. You tell me odd or even.
Even.
It hits Scald on the foot. Like
I
it
think-
rolls up and just kind of.
Yeah. I pick it up and I shout back through the portal. I already tried that.
I really just want to leave over and go, try shouting in that.
Oh. I take the rock and I go, I already tried that. Really loud.
And you hear it coming back yelling.
Right.
No.
So Sarah's gonna cast false life on herself as she
Okay.
walks solo. 1, so 5 extra hit points, 10 hit points.
So you hear that, El. You hear through the sending stone.
You don't have to yell. It's a sending stone.
And you hear that skull.
I hold the stone up to my mouth and I go, okay, no problem. Really loud.
Of course you're that guy.
Sark's gonna chuckle and start investigating the area we just walked into.
As soon as I hear Sark chuckle, I immediately whip my head over to him and give him like a shit-eating grin and a wink.
Oh, at least if something's coming to eat you, it knows you're here now.
And it didn't before. Well, you're not in here yet. Never
I
mind.
mean, I shot the wall with magic, and then
I thought you didn't do magic.
Do I see? I don't do magic. Do I see my dagger anywhere?
Yes, you do see your dagger.
Excellent. I pick it up and I put it back in its sheath in a little under shoulder holster under my coat.
This is a simple rock cave, slate gray, wet, like I said, and then the water as it hits the ground. That's our little guest over there. He's excited right now for something. As the water hits the ground, it exits off to your left through what appears to be a small tunnel that's leading to somewhere.
Sark's. So there's water sheeting down, and then there's the tunnel. Sark's gonna go look where the water's coming from first before moving towards the.
Just to avoid craziness. It's just a couple of slits along the wall where it's like a spring, like a natural spring, where it's pouring down and then sliding out through it's nothing spectacular.
That's fine. That's what I was expecting. I just didn't.
As someone who generally approves of that, we could get sidetracked very easily.
I'm a fan of both, like that it's there and that's what it is. I'm like, nope, okay, that's what I thought it was. And then I'm gonna go look and move, not quite out of line of sight with Scald, and then just look down that tunnel.
Make a perception check for me, please.
That's an 11.
So as you look out, you see that 1, it's not day. 2, it appears that the exit is covered in greenery, and 3, you hear the sound of rushing water coming from that direction.
Sark's gonna untie himself and like sneak up to the edge and just peer out as like on the edge of that entrance.
Are you guys not going to communicate back with the rest of the group at all?
Not currently.
I'm still going to be talking to Skull, just not actually saying anything important. Our goal is to send 10 messages through the sending stone, because if they're on another plane, there's a 5% chance that one of them will fail.
Well, before we get on, we are getting close to the 45-minute mark. I think this is a good stopping point. So let's go ahead and take a real quick break, and we'll be back in just a few moments.
Where's the Malört?
Welcome back, everybody, to Campaigns and Concoctions, where we are very much disappointed about the way that they distribute alcohol in America. We just had a whole thing on green chartreuse, and it makes us very angry that it's going to be very difficult to get. So, that being said, we have drinks. What are we drinking, gentlemen?
Jared didn't want to give
That's fucking delicious.
Jared didn't want to give mine back. I'm a little torn. I think I'm going to call it the Black Death because it's made with mezcal, not rum. I'm going to make a different version with rum that'll have a different name that I want to use. But I'm calling this guy the Black Death. It's an ounce and a half of illegal. Is the Joven?
No, that's the Resposado.
Reposado, yeah. Illegal Reposado, mezcal, ounce and a half. Half an ounce of Serrano agave, 3/4 of an ounce of pineapple juice, half an ounce of Slivovitz plum brandy,
Shit.
and a bar spoon of black currant jam, preserve?
Jam, I think is what
Jam? Okay. Shake it up, strain it. I probably should have double strained, but I only single strained because I love bruised drinks, like those ice chips floating. And then I garnished it with a pineapple frond and a dollop of black currant jam. And it is pretty fucking good. Like, I don't usually, like, say that I made something fucking good on a first try, just because that's so egotistical, but it's pretty fucking good.
It's fucking good. It's not egotistical when your friend says it.
It sounds like a Jared drink, that's for sure.
Right? Yeah.
Having ice chips that float, but not because it's like I like having when I have my martini, I like my cocktail glass to be so cold that ice has kind of formed around it naturally, and it breaks off and just kind of floats on the top, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've there's something that feels almost decadent to me about having this ice, just chips of ice floating on the surface of my drink, you know?
Yeah. All right. What else we got?
Curtis, do you want to name this one?
Well, the last one that we named that was in that vein was named off of miniature painting.
Yeah.
So, what is the color of yellow that you put on to Space Marines, John?
Oh, it's Imperial Fist Gold, isn't it? Or Imperial Fist Yellow?
Let's call it the Imperial Fist.
That's a good name.
That's a good name for it. So this, I think this is a CNC original too, right? It's 2 ounces of the illegal mezcal.
Illegal Reposado.
Reposado mezcal. It was 3/4 ounce of yellow chartreuse and 1/4 ounce of velvet
Falernum.
Thank you. Can't say that. That word is never coming right out of my mouth. Probably won't make things with it for that reason.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of, we garnished it with a cocktail cherry sunk to the bottom. Kind of reminds me of the Golden Demon. Also delicious. Yeah, this is really good. I will take a picture of it.
A CNC original.
jealous.
I really like that. That's
It's really
that's
good.
awesome.
Curtis, you should make this one for yourself. I will.
Oh, man.
As always, guys, if you're interested in the recipes that we make, I know that John generally posts to his Instagram, but also it links us and includes us. You can find all of our recipes there, but also just go ahead and follow John on all of his socials at it's the Nomad Barkeep. He makes a lot of really cool stuff, and he's just a fun guy. So
Appreciate that.
So we left off with the party split between two different things with portals. Sark was slowly creeping towards the entrance of this cave. Scald was just kind of chatting back and forth with Elle. So Elle and Scald, I don't know if you guys have ever heard when an army radio is not quite in sync. They do that. They have that frequency hopping where like you just kind of sputter. It's like every once in a while the way that it goes, that kind of a thing. About every 25 words or so, that's what happens.
Nice.
But you can get the gist of the conversation. But what are you sharing back? Since Sark's out doing his thing, are you sharing any kind of information with the party as you guys are swapping these stories?
I'm probably oversharing as we walk. I'm seldom given the ability to really fuck with my comrades and have like a legit justification for it. So I'm probably essentially narrating pretty much everything that's happening, and it probably starts off very much like some, dumb kid who is having way too much fun with a walkie-talkie in an intense situation probably flows into legit narration where like Skeld is like dramatizing what's happening and like describing like emotional state. It goes from like, okay, we're walking down the hall. We've gone 5 feet down the hall. Oh my god, we're going a little bit further down the hall. It like goes from that to like slowly placing my foot one in front of the other with nothing but trepidation. Like just fully trolling L as much as possible.
Old-timey radio, yeah.
Worlds. This is War of the Worlds being narrated.
Great description, Curtis.
Yes.
Great description.
Yeah.
So, Patrice, Sid, and L, what are the three of you doing?
After I get the 10 messages and I'm fairly sure they're not on another plane, I'm just gonna...
It's skipping because it's on another plane.
Okay. Either way, as soon as I get the information, one way or the other, I'm just gonna drop the magic on the sending stone and not say anything. It's just gonna turn back into a normal stone in Skull's hand.
It's amazing.
And then fully appropriate. I'm gonna turn to SOA and Patrice that are still out with me and Sid. Sure. Well, they're on another plane now. I don't know where, but it's not this plane.
I worry for them. I think we should go follow in and have their back.
I guess.
Patrice bangs his stick on the ground, made of glass, and you see swirls of chain link magically swirl around him. Then he walks through after taking a deep breath. I'm casting mage armor out of my staff.
Oh, that's a cool description, dude. I like that. Al, Sid, what are you doing?
I'm gonna tie off the rope that we've got, so it's still running through, but it's secured on this side, and then just go walk through the portal.
Okay.
Can I just investigate like the geological rock, just from my time around the caves at my home, and just kind of?
I mean, you can. I mean, you're not really an expert at it, so.
I'll just follow. Oh no, I'll follow.
Yeah.
I'll follow Scald.
Scald's been over there for a while though already.
Yeah, for a minute. For a hot minute.
So you'd be following L or Patrice at this point.
I'm assuming S.
I went in after you guys though. I cast.
Oh, that's right. You did. You cast False Life.
False
and then
Life. I walked in.
That's right, you did. So you're on the other side. You're following everybody. Yeah.
So you've been listening to.
Sorry, I was taking way
narrate
too. I had to concentrate to take my picture. Sorry. Okay, I'm good now.
I'm assuming SOA follows Patrice and L through the.
Yeah, I've got SOA. Don't worry about it. About SOA.
SOA says, "These fucking guys," and then walks through.
Yep. Exactly.
So I got a 21 on my stealth moving.
Okay. So, Sark, as you pull up to the entrance of the cave, you look out. Go ahead and make a perception check for me, please.
Still on there. 17.
So you look out and you instantly see some pretty drastic differences to the night sky. The ring that surrounds the center of Librarth is no longer there, nor are there 3 moons. There's only one that is showing.
Shit.
You find that you are centered around vegetation and a small creek that lazily flows from your left to your right down a gentle hill. It's one of those creeks that flows over stone, like a stone. You know, you've seen them in the woods where it's just like one large piece of stone that has kind of been carved throughout the centuries as water continues to flow down it. Lush green vegetation surrounds it, but there's also a path that leads off to your right. And you seem to find yourself in a small hollow. Funny, I'm not from the south, but I don't know how to describe that thing other than that, right? A holler is a holler. There's no other way I can describe it.
Yeah.
Because I'll just sit at the edge for a minute. Do I notice any native life moving at all? Or does it seem almost too pristine for that?
No, it's definitely a lived-in space. There's small creatures. When you catch glances of them, they're similar to what you're accustomed to, but they're all something is off with them. With a 17, you're not going to get a lot of detail about it, but yeah, it's a lived-in space. This is definitely like the nocturnal animals are moving around and everything. It doesn't feel like it's an artificial space, like it's something that's created outside of the normal weirdness of nature being created, right?
I'll come back down and be like, the path keeps going.
I continue narrating into the rock. I'm not going to call it a sending stone because it's not. So I'm narrating into a rock in my fist. And I dramatically describe Sark coming back to tell me what's outside and me proceeding forward towards the cliff.
At this point, so Sid is right behind you, Sark. She's been there the whole time, right? Because I mixed that one up. But
Yeah.
at this point, though, Elle and Patrice have come up next and are standing next to the two of you as well.
Oh, as soon as
I'm behind Skull. As soon as I see him, I'm not going to be in his vision.
until I see Elle, I will continue narrating into the rocks. I'm even saying that Sid and Patrice are now with me, and that the four of us are moving forward, awaiting Elle's heroic entrance. As I continue dramatizing the events that are literally happening to us.
I'm behind Skull, right? Yeah, I get that. I'm gonna turn around and go. Oh, how'd you turn off the stone?
I did that like 5 minutes ago.
Can I do a perception check for noticing Sid saying this to Elle?
Sure.
You are actively narrating. It'd be hard to hear it.
I got a 7.
You don't hear it. You are so.
I mean,
you're falling into your namesake at this point, right?
I gotta be honest. Wouldn't have changed the actions that came after that. Just changes the intent of the actions.
I want Sark to like come out, see this going on, and go.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid lineup.
I'm just gonna go back to the path and walk back up the tunnel and move out to start kind of moving down that path outside in vegetation.
If Skull didn't turn around when Sid asked that, Elle's response would just be to wave his hand over his head and just mouth the word magic.
Fair.
So he wants Skull to continue narrating for as long as possible with nobody's thought at the other end. He's actually kind of enjoying the narration, right? But it's also, I mean, like, That was kind of a dick move, but also this is kind of fun.
I mean, it's a 10. It was a 10 for performance. So he's doing a decent job of narrating.
He's an average performer at this point.
Right now, yeah. I mean, he's a little tense, you know.
It started out as a joke. It wasn't actually a performance, and then it kind of shifted.
Yeah, it shifted, right. But yeah, it
Haven't
started
really
off.
got into the full performance yet.
Yeah, it's still kind of a joke, right? So he's not fully invested in it yet.
Yeah. So, but I take it, or Scald, are you following Sark?
Yeah. Yeah. I am going to, in narrator character, suggest to Sark that we untie ourselves.
Already have.
Oh. Skeld has been so invested in his narration that he did not notice you untied him.
As was John.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
I was like,
I was posting our drinks, okay? I'm sorry.
Which is about the same, right? It's the same thing.
It's pretty much the same thing.
So, the you guys walk down to the edge, and as you walk out, you see the same thing. Go ahead and everyone make another perception check, including you, Sark.
That's not bad. 16.
Okay.
Fuck! Oof.
9.
Not bad enough to drink Malört too.
15.
Thank you.
I'll have 11.
Okay.
Sark is 22.
Okay. And that was Scald had the 15, right?
16.
Patrice said 15.
Okay. Patrice had 15. That's right. Okay. So Sid's a little. I think Sid's a little just kind of concerned about the way that the path that she is on is taken, and she's kind of in her own head at this point, right? So that's probably why she's not seeing everything. Like, I don't think she ever expected to be on a different plane, to have been battling things from other planes, all those kinds of things. So this is just, even in all of her broad depth of experience, this is just outside the bounds of who.
I know exactly what's going on.
Yeah. But everyone else now sees that basic description that I gave about the single moon, the lack of the ring, the vegetation and everything. But Sark, as you were looking again for the second time, you kind of can see over kind of the edge, like the steep edge of the holler in front of you. You kind of almost see like a glow that is glowing off. It's not in the direction of the path that you're going, but yeah, you can kind of see something like that, like off into the distance, and you're not sure exactly what is casting that glow, but it's not it doesn't appear to be something of. It seems to be something of sentient make.
Okay. For now, he's going to stick on the path, but he's going to kind of mark it and track.
Mm-hmm.
He's an urban kid. This kind of feels like urban because of the height of things. He's hoping there's somewhere at the end of this that he can turn towards the glowing thing.
It's very much a tight forest space, right? Think forest of like Savannah, Georgia kind of forest, like that, the weeping willows, but it's when you driving down those country estates back then, down that part of the country where it's just like a wall of bark and green, and like there's ivy growing up the tree bark, all of that, right? Like Louisiana, the Panhandle, Florida, southern Mississippi, those kinds of places, right? You guys continue to walk. About 10 minutes go by, and the path opens up, and the wall of vegetation that has surrounded you ends. As you look, you've now made your way outside of the holler, and you're looking to the right. and you can see pretty far off in the distance, probably a good 20 miles or so, you see a glittering city of rainbow pastels. And off to the left, in the direction, Sark, of where you saw the kind of glowing light, you see what looks to be another city, about the same, equidistant from where you are. But this one is of monochromatic blacks and grays. They're almost, not quite, but almost mirror images of each other.
Fuck. Sorry, that was Dustin, not El.
As they sit opposite of each other.
Because I've read a lot of
books.
It'd be like a history or arcana?
Anyone who would like can roll either a history, arcana, or religion check.
Oh, arcana, yes.
They're all intelligence based that I'm not proficient in, so this will be fun.
They are they all? I was hoping to hear something that wasn't.
No, religion's intelligence, and so is arcana. That's fine. It makes sense.
It does, but
Drink, motherfuckers, drink! Nat 1! Woo!
Hey, Johnny, yay!
Glad I found it.
Jesus Christ! Wasted that nat 20 at the beginning, you know.
There we go. You're just
Cheers.
keeping the force in balance, buddy.
I am. It's pretty out of balance, actually.
You're just being the Anakin of dice rolls tonight. Yep, that was terrible. That was terrible. Do you have regular Malört or do you have Balmer Peak no more?
I got regular Malört, which is enough. Oh gosh.
Big shout out to Balmer Peak for making something that is objectively worse and better than Malört.
Yeah, it fits the bill better somehow.
It does. And it is better, but it is also so much worse.
Yeah, this is like more of a back of the throat type of damage.
This is my entire mouth for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah, I'm happy. This is the happiest I've ever been drinking Malört because it's been a while. I've been drinking the Bass No More.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's
no.
it's like parole, you know? Like drinking regular Malört is like getting out on parole. Like you're technically in trouble, but you know, you're not in prison anymore, you know?
All right,
So-
Morgan, sorry.
It's all right. As the party, so wait, we had one natural one. Who else? What else? Who else rolled? And what did you guys get?
I rolled a 9.
Yeah, no.
Oh, God.
17 on religion for Patrice.
Sorry, I got multiple guys. So what was it, Curtis?
17 for Patrice on religion.
Okay.
What were my options? The Malört erased my mind.
Hold on,
Arcana.
Elle, what did you roll?
History or religion? I rolled a 10 for Arcana.
Okay. It was Arcana, History, or Religion. Which for you, I'm pretty sure none of those are good options.
It's all zeros.
I got a 19.
What the? Fuck, for real funny.
And you know what? Just for shits and giggles, we're gonna make it a religion roll.
Okay, so that makes this easy. So I only have to really give you guys one description. In
So it's just like, there's something. I know there's something.
in the pantheon of Liberarth in the world, there is a hierarchical structure where there are major gods, minor gods, and patrons, and they all have the ability to grant the powers of a deity. However, it's a constant battle where they're literally waging wars for followers or to kill other followers to climb the ladder to become a major god. One of the places where these patrons do battle is a space called the In-Between. The In-Between is a space that is extraplanar but intrinsically tied to the material plane of Liberarth. It was created as a space to protect Liberarth and the material from the other planes of existence. Within that the in-between are the mythical cities of Shadowfell and the Feywild, which match the descriptions of what you were seeing. Shadowfell being monochromatic, and the Feywild being the rainbow pastels. So you're pretty sure that is where you have found yourself.
Patrice is giddy and terrified, and he grabs Sid by the sleeve and just starts shaking it. It's like, oh, I know about this place.
Patrice, isn't this the in-between?
I think so. That over there is the Feywild.
And that's Shadowfell, right?
Wait,
Let's not go to either one.
am I dead?
Not yet.
Like, are we dead?
Not
Like,
yet.
We're in a world of shit.
People don't come here when they die. They come here and then die.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or they come here and after they die and die again.
Sid kind of glances over her shoulder. Is there, like, the portal still there? Can, like, we go back?
The portal, you're not within sight of the portal at this point. You guys have been walking for a good 15 minutes, but it didn't dissipate like when you guys came through.
It's okay. This is the place that was created to separate the material realm from where the gods do battle, to figure out which one of them is going to be like, the god of, I don't know, wheat.
I gotta be honest with you.
Wait, we can get to God so I can punch him?
This is
If
literally...
there's one here. If there's one here. But this is where you would do it. If you were going to punch a god, this is the right place to do it.
This is not where... I don't think... I didn't learn about this place in school. I've never come across this in my past.
Did you not go to Sunday school as a kid?
No.
That's weird.
If you're gonna punch a god, you punch him in the in-between.
That's right. That's right.
I'm playing up that natural one.
Sundays.
No matter what I do, you all somehow find a way to turn it into a double entendre.
Welcome to DMing. This group.
Yes. Very specifically. Other groups as well.
Because like the
D
in-between's
and
a
double
pretty good name.
entendre.
Come on.
Okay,
It's a great name.
seriously though, guys. Is this Mortar and Pestle worth where we are? Are we up for this?
I mean, they are paying us a lot of money.
We're already here. If we'd known about it ahead of time, that's a different thing.
I mean, it's worth 300 platinum. So, yeah.
This is where epic stories come from.
Like, at this point, we don't even spend that on paying our crew, because we've got them paid up for like a year and a half, 2 years
It does
already.
care about being part of an epic story. Okay.
And, like, we can buy more ships.
Ah, fits her. Okay.
We could buy a fucking town at the right where of money.
Can we buy a town that floats and flies?
Not in this particular time frame.
I
Can
Anyways.
we build a town that floats and flies?
Just exactly where I was heading.
Well, how about let's start smaller than that. Let's just like put L's workshop
Floats and flies.
on a floating and flying pedestal of some kind, so it doesn't blow up Haven.
Like a fortress. Like a
Gray skulls on it.
like a sky keep with a sky harbor.
just stop. I've been listening. I just finally started catching back up to finishing the apocalypse
No.
thing. So that's where my head's going. Like just death.
Sark's gonna sit there and go, do people who actually read about gods, other than looking for places to punch them, the goddesses the Mortal and Pestile belong to? Are they supposed to be in either city?
They're the three ladies. They're essentially the Fates, right?
The Morrigan.
The Morrigan.
So I know John knows that, but I don't know if Scald would know it. Because in this particular case, you would need to roll either religion or nature.
15 on religion.
You're the same on both.
No, I have an 18 on nature.
Perfect. So you've been around enough to understand how druids work, right?
Yeah.
So
There's lots of water, you know.
yeah, there's kind of like almost a quasi-religious bend to them, right? And so there are multiple personifications of natural druidic magic, and the three ladies, the maiden, the crone, and the mother, are one of the personifications that most druids get their power from.
Gotcha.
You know, there's like Gaia type things. There are old ancient things in weird parts of the world. There's rumors of Sylvan who can grant those powers, but they draw their power from nature, and then they dispense that power to protect nature. And the Morrigan were at least at one point one of them.
So Skeld is one for stories. Would he have heard and or remember any stories from the druids he was on the water with of the Morrigan potentially inhabiting the Feywild?
Not the Feywild. So I would say for them, they wouldn't be in a city, right? Of any kind. Because, I mean, there's a few urban environments that they would, but definitely not here in the in-between. If they were going to be here, it would definitely not be in one of those two cities.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I don't think they're in Shadowfell or the Feywild. And yes, some people do study gods for reasons other than punching them. Those people are usually what we call fools.
I was gonna say Patrice.
Ooh. Patrice is an exception. Patrice likes reading about gods, but he's not a fool. He was fooled, but he's not a fool.
So what, just to sum this up real quick, we're gonna go into the god's battlefield to steal something from a kind of god.
Yeah, that's a pretty good summary, yeah.
I want my
I
name.
might get a punch one yet.
There's a
Shark
chance.
frantically
There's a
just starts
distinct
looking
chance.
around in between the cities for somewhere that looks like this is supposed to be.
This sounds like a terrible plan. I'm in. Let's go.
I want my name written in history books.
Well, if you punch a god in the in-between, they'll definitely write your name down in history books.
If you make it back from punching a god in the end,
That's fair.
That's
fair.
not always true. If someone makes it back.
If any of us,
Makes it
if I make it back from you punching a god in the in-between, I will make sure your name is in history books.
So
Not
go
all
ahead
heroes
and make
return.
a perception check for me, Stark.
I can't help if
Actually, I can be
you
slower than you. I'm fucked.
know. Yeah, you're way slower.
11.
You're not sure what exactly. So there's really only three options for you to go. To either head towards Shadowfell, head towards Feywild, or kind of continue to head straight ahead. Which, as you look in front of you, you see what looks to be a small lake that the creek falls into. Can you guys tell I've been listening to Old Gods of Appalachia by the Holler and the Crick, and I love that fucking podcast. But it's completely surrounded by thick weeping willow trees. You can see through it, but that would be the only other option outside of going to the Feywild or to Shadowfell.
If we're looking for druid god things,
You'd be there, right?
we should probably just look for the densest forest woods thing.
There's a lake. I point at it and then start walking.
Very good.
And right there, we're going to go ahead and stop and take our next break, and we'll be back in just a few moments. Welcome back to Campaigns and Concoctions, where I have established very, very vehemently that I will eat octopus any time of day. True statement. But John, tell us what our first drink is.
Well, our first drink, I'm very proud of the name. I'm about as proud of the name as I am of the cocktail, because this cocktail is dangerous. I'm calling this Blackbeard's Folly. It's an ounce and a half of Balmer Peak overproof barrel-aged rum, an ounce of Balmer Peak spiced rum.
Jesus.
It is 3/4 of an ounce of Averna Amaro. It is half an ounce of the Kraken coffee-infused rum. It is half an ounce of Serrano agave syrup, and it is a bar spoon of black currant jam. I put it on a large cube in a brandy snifter. Garnished.
That's a big drink.
It's a big drink. Garnished with a fired star anise pod, and a dollop of black currant jam on top of the large cube. It is delightful, deceptive, and dangerous. The 3 Ds of cocktails.
Yeah.
John,
Yep.
when you garnish with a star anise that's flamed, are there anything, because you can't like twist it and rub it around the rim, is there anything special about how you would use that garnish or apply that garnish?
I usually float it, and then I give the glass a little spin from the stem. The star anise won't appear to have moved, but it'll get the liquid moving a little bit so that the oils from the anise pod kind of move across the surface of the drink. It keeps it from being overwhelming in one spot or overwhelming across the entire drink, but you still get the nose really well, and you get a little bit of the flavor. And it's just a tiny bit, because it's just a little bit of the oils from the star anise pod floating on the surface, but you get that flavor on the tongue a little bit as well.
When you flame it, do you drop it in while it's still on fire?
What's that? Yeah, I drop it in while it's on fire, yeah. Because I like...
Yeah, we all like fire.
Mhm. I don't know if I do that for any particular reason other than I like fire and I want it to be on fire for as long as possible.
It's just like it's like a Viking funeral in your glass.
That's exactly right. Yes, absolutely.
And Jared, what is it that you have made?
So I'm naming this the Plateau. It's 2 ounces Reposado tequila, a half ounce Amaro Chicharro. If you don't have that, go ahead and use Chinar. 1/4 ounce agave syrup. We had John's Serrano agave syrup. I used 1/4 ounce of that, made it even better. And then 1 to 2 dashes of Aztec chocolate bitters. Go ahead and just throw that in a glass with the large cube and just stir it up in your glass. Very much in the old-fashioned kind of realm of cocktails. Become one of my favorites. I've made this like 6 times at home. It's super easy to make, and it's become one of my favorites.
So just out of curiosity, is this in honor of the home of Prosper and Richter's daughter?
Sure, if you want it to be.
That's the place where their city is located is called the Plateau.
No way. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was destiny. I didn't know that, John. That's cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so
That's something I think that she would drink too.
it's really freaking good. Next time you're in town, or whatever, or make it for yourself, Morgan. It's delicious.
So
So
the party looks directly ahead, and you see this body of water where the water is the creek is flowing into, surrounded by trees, heavy vegetation surrounding it. Thoughts of this may be the best place to search. What are you guys doing?
Patrice is going to he's going to take a second. He's going to sit down on his haunches. He's going to look around and kind of take in the surroundings. He's going to smell, and he's going to on a deep inhale, and he's going to close his eyes as he's inhaling. And he's going to try and feel that, and he's going to put his left hand on the bone flute that he has, and he's going to try and see if he can feel that presence of it's eluding me now. Levinar. I got it. Yeah, of Levinar in this moment.
I need you to roll a D100 for me.
That's a 41.
As you place your left hand onto the bone flute, and you kind of reach out with all of your senses to see if you can find the connection to Levinar. You actually feel in your chest and in your hand, like where you're storing it. Where do you keep the bone flute when it's not in your hand?
I think I think that's right. I think on his left side, closer to his heart, there's like an internal pocket on his cloak. Yeah.
You feel it in your chest and in your hand as you are shocked, like some sort of energy pulse that causes you pain. And you take...
Oh gosh.
Hold on. It's not big. 1 point of lightning damage as you feel this seriously deep connection with Levinar. Like you can almost feel him looking over your shoulder. You know it's not physically possible because every time that you've interacted with him, he is massive, right? But you feel him there.
Does Patrice put 2 and 2 together of the in-between makes it so that the line between him and the location where deities are is closer?
Roll an insight check for me.
That's a 15.
I would say, because this is a little bit kind of more in Patrice's realm of expertise, I would say that the in-between is kind of like, I don't know how to describe it in the proper scientific terms, Curtis, but like a medium that enhances things, you know? So it's like being in the in-between is almost like a conduit to one's thing, right? Patron, deity, whatever, you know, however you interact with that. But it enhances it in somehow. It may not be because they're there, but it's something about being in the space of the in-between that that enhances that connection.
Patrice, I think he almost loses his balance as he received that shock while he's leaning down, and then he bolts up and he feels safe now. He in his mind he knows that Levinar is somehow closer, or somehow like more in tune, and he feels more in tune, and I think he takes that as a sign of a good omen, and he has like a new sense of vigor.
Okay.
Was there any outward sign of Patrice taking that damage?
Make a perception check for me, please.
$19.
Oh yeah, you saw it. You actually saw a kind of like a bluish white flash, almost like the color that you see behind me, Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of that that kind of pops out of the chest area of Patrice and hits his hand.
Did you just shock yourself?
In a way, yeah. I was shocked. Yeah, for sure. I'm still shocked.
Whatever. This is the God place. I think we listen to the God people. That's you guys. You're the ones that talk to the God things. Looks at Scald, SOA, and Patrice.
Tread lightly, but would tread with purpose.
That was real fucking helpful. Thanks.
All I'm saying is, be decisive and don't linger.
So don't do exactly what we're doing now.
Are we lingering, or do we have a purpose? Let's go.
Where?
Hey, we have a purpose, just no direction. That's what I'm not people for.
You guys did discuss that possibly where the lake is might be the best initial part to look, because it was kind of the most forested area around.
Cool. To the lake, and Elle starts walking. I don't want to be here any longer than we have to be.
Are we on the shore of the lake?
Not quite. It's going to take you, it takes you a good 10 minutes to walk that distance. As you get closer, the ground begins to get a little bit swampier and a little bit softer. It's much more difficult to walk, just because it's kind of like a river delta in miniature, right? As it flows, as this creek flows into the lake, you also are seeing like cat o' nine tails, those just all this like tall grass that kind of is associated with like swampy behavior of nature around as you are getting closer. The creek is off to your left, just for a little bit of situational awareness for everybody. You guys just going to keep going straight as you kind of get a little bit sloggy, or do you want to try and find a little bit more of a solid path?
Sark would look for a more solid path. He doesn't want to be restricted in movement.
Go ahead and make an investigation check for me, Sark.
We'll be ready,
Nat 20 for 24.
Drink, motherfucker, drink.
Our table is loaded with stupid, ridiculously good drinks right now, FYI. So, if you're listening to this podcast, make these drinks.
Yeah, the images are on Instagram, along with recipes, right, Jared?
Yeah, I will post mine later in the week, probably to try to drive some.
But before the episode drops.
Please like and all the things. We need the engagement does help. It really does. I know it sounds silly, but it really does help. So, off to you realize that if you kind of were to drift a little bit to the right, it does start to get a little bit firmer, and you keep going right. Eventually, you get to a point where you're no longer in kind of the swampy, boggy land that is where the creek enters the lake. So,
Circle move in that direction.
So, I feel like Sid's instinct, just her time traveling in, on like missions in the wild would be to like just like try to look around the surroundings and take in, like, are there anything around that would make sense to be grinded up, like in some sort of a potion or a...
Go ahead and make a perception check for me, Sid.
That is the 16.
So the answer is going to be yes, but it's
Okay.
it's only because you're a magic user, you're a sorcerer. You use spell components, even if you have like like a casting focus. Like you understand the concept of components within magic, right? So there are plenty of things that are growing around this lake that could easily be used for spell components that could be ground up in a mortar and pestle.
Are they closer to the lake or closer to where Sark has wandered?
All over the place, but it's definitely in the vicinity of this lake.
Yeah. Keep going. I'm gonna make a roll for myself because I don't know what to do.
So as the party gets closer and closer to the lake,
Okay.
the scene really sets up for you as you kind of walk in. It's the willows, those, you know, for those of you who can imagine this, just imagine the cover of Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, that street in Savannah, Georgia, where there's the willows that hang over with the trolley going through it, right? These are hanging into the water as you're sitting there. Like there's a mist that is popping up over the water. You hear the sound of owls hooting. And you get there and it's just, there is an essence and a power in the space that you are located. If I could get everyone to roll an insight check for me real quick. Get a read on the space.
Well,
That one.
Jesus.
hey, motherfucker.
Sorry, I'm making everyone drink
I gotta
tonight.
pour my Malört. Hold on.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Cheers.
John.
Cheers.
Sorry, John.
To good
Sorry.
friends and bad decisions.
So tonight, that is 2 nat 20s and 2 nat 1s for Jared.
Yep.
Fuck, man.
Yep, just for Jared.
And then an additional nat 20 for Nate.
Wait, who all rolled nat 20s? I only marked one, I swear, yeah.
I rolled one.
Nate
I
got one.
Two.
You rolled two.
I rolled 2 nat 20s?
No, you rolled 1 nat 20
Okay.
That's right, and 2 nat 1s.
and 2 nat 1s. Yeah.
So we had the one. So Sid is concerned about finding she's looking at the surroundings for spell components, things that could be used in Mortal and Pestile.
Go off with Nate, FYI.
Oh, I think everyone's following Sark. at this
Yeah, we're
point.
making our way around the edge. I'm not wading through swamp water, so I don't have to. My movement's not hindered. So
I'm pretty sure everyone's following at that point. That would make sense.
Okay.
Sure.
you take steps off one way or the other. It's
Yeah.
fine. But you would.
I journeyed a little bit closer to the water than you.
But go ahead, tell me what everyone else got.
Sorry.
Sark has a 21.
Okay.
Elle's got a 4.
Okay.
I'm not proficient.
John.
Patrice got a 17.
Sorry. Patrice.
17 for Patrice.
13.
So for Sark and Patrice, the two of you can actually feel that this power that's emanating from this space is actually almost feels like it's diminishing. Like something is kind of suppressing it, or it's going away, or it's ebbing. You can't really figure out what it is, but you almost get the sense that this used to be something more about what it is.
Does it make me sad?
Ooh, good question. I would say yes.
This is a special place. It seems like it's lesser than it was. Like it used to have. You know when you it almost seems like like the aftertaste of its former self.
Sark, in just dealing with the manager and his stuff, is actually gonna like take off his jacket and his bag and like look around the edge, and he's basically looking for a body and whatever emanations are fading from it. And if he doesn't see one on the shore, he's gonna like half stick his head in the water and try and look around, because he has like this feeling is it's either dead or dying, and this is the aftermath of that.
So go ahead and make an investigation check for me, please, since you're looking for something specific.
13.
That Malört got me. Ooh. No shit.
Look, I've been out of work for a month. Okay, I haven't been drinking 2 to 3 shots of Malört a day.
This is a choice.
So
I'm sorry.
you're good. Sark, as you look around, you don't find anything specific that you're looking or anything like that. And it doesn't look like there's anything dying. You actually see a little bit of the movement of like field mice, kind of like creatures that are running around and everything. As you stick your head in the water and kind of look around, you do see that it seems that there is a fairly sizable amount of dead fish that haven't yet made it to the surface.
Sarge just like stands up and goes, "Fuck! What? A lot of dead fish in the water. Not yet up.
Like they recently died?
I have a feeling that time is weird." And then goes over and starts grabbing a rope to tie around one of the trees.
I turn to Patrice and I say, time is weird. You know, it's like sometimes it feels like, you know, a moment takes an hour. Sometimes it feels like an hour takes a moment. It's just, it feels like it's just some shit we made up, you know?
And sometimes it feels like 6 seconds takes like 30 minutes.
It's 30-ish minutes, you know? Regularly, especially when hanging out with you guys. It sometimes feels like 6 seconds takes like 30 to 45 minutes. It's really weird. It's really weird.
So
The question is, do I age at the same rate regardless of how it feels?
As soon as Sark said fuck, El tossed one of his cannons off to the side and pulled the gun.
okay. As that's happening, is anyone else doing anything?
As soon as I see that, I pull out my sword. And by pull it out, I mean it appears in my hand.
Oh yeah,
And
stop.
now I'm drinking an elective shot of Malört for the fuck of it. There we go.
Job training.
Yeah. I gotta get back into the routine, you know?
Once I have a
not
good
bad.
like anchor point, I'm
Okay.
gonna turn myself off, and then I'm jumping into the water
Okay.
and just
Make,
allow
a,
myself
make
to
an
sink.
athletics or acrobatics check to see how far out you get.
It's definitely gonna be acrobatics because I'm not proficient in the other one yet. That's a 15.
Okay.
I'm gonna dive in after him. No rope, no nothing.
So you jump in, you get
Drink, motherfucker, drink.
what just happened?
That one. Time for some Malört. I should not have had the elective shot of Malört. It was on its way.
Wait, who rolled a nat 1 for what?
For jumping into the water after me.
Diving into the water.
It's at this point not diving.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is I didn't fail jumping into the water, I failed diving into the water. That could be better or worse depending on how that goes.
Shallow or does he belly flop?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a belly flop into shallow water where he lands squarely belly first into mud. And he starts to crawl his swim, and he's just initially just pulling dirt and mud, eventually getting out to where he's actually underwater, because he didn't make it far enough for the majority of his body to be underwater.
And like as I'm doing this terrible crawl, I like look over my shoulder at everybody else on the shore, and I'm like, I'm actually usually really good at this, and then just keep army crawling through the mud.
No, it's a swim. Like you're trying to swim.
I'm attempting to swim, but it is effectively army crawling. Yeah.
I tap SOA on the shoulder. I was like, is this like a saltwater versus seawater type of thing?
And over my shoulder, I'm like, I think it is. I'm used to salt water.
When you look to find SOA, she's nowhere to be seen.
Shit. We lost one.
It's not the first time. Oh wait,
Once I get in the water, I'm quite graceful.
Very much so. So, with your devil sight, you're seeing the same thing as what
Yeah.
Sark described. but that's really. But then you're also seeing the majority of the fish are actually swimming. They seem healthy. It doesn't seem like there's anything predominantly wrong with the lake or anything like that. But now that you actually get a good solid look at it, it looks like the fish are not even rising. They're just there. They're not moving. They're dead.
Okay.
They're not rising like they should. They're not sinking like really weird. They're just there.
Are they all in one spot?
No, they're. It's just kind of scattered throughout the lake.
Around? Okay.
Can I tell if where Scald is, if the water is deep enough or shallow enough to stand?
Where Scald is right now is not. It took him a minute, but he got to a spot where it was actually deep.
All I was gonna do is pull a potion out of his bag. Just hold it in his other hand.
As soon as Sark settles on the bottom, if he settles on the bottom, he'll start kind of like moving to see if there's anything on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Go
another
ahead, make a perception check for me, please.
That's a 10. My passive is 18.
For a what?
It's a 10. My passive is an 18.
So we'll take the passive. Yeah, you're not seeing anything. It doesn't seem like there's anything, much like in the same description as I gave Scald. It's very much the same that you're just kind of. The fish. Those particular fish are weird, but other than that, there's really not much. It seems to be a normal lake biome, right? Like it seems that things are functioning as they should.
This actually makes Sark more concerned.
How far away is Sark from me at this point?
Probably a good 15 feet or so. I mean, it's a good sized lake, right? It's probably a good, 700 feet across. It's solid. It's a pretty big lake. So
Can Sid, seeing his friends in folly, or her friends in folly, is there any other bigger like landmarker besides the lake? Like,
go ahead and roll a perception check.
please roll good. Yes! Fuck yes. That's gonna be a 24.
As you look around, you kind of start off to the left side and you sweep over, and about where Sark had jumped into the water, you look and you can see a fairly large outcropping of rock. And it looks like there's another small creek that is kind of cascading down. And as you look just to the left of the outcropping, you see the outline of a small house. No one asked. Everyone got so focused on the lake.
Hey, I see a house over there.
You say this while you're underwater?
No, I'm not in the water.
Oh, you're not underwater.
No, I didn't come in after you guys.
Okay.
I have low dexterity. I didn't really want to get in the water.
Did you keep the stone on you?
Yeah. Why would I not?
And I was gonna reactivate it. Not sure if you had it, if you kept it or not. But he's gonna reactivate it as a sending stone and just. Well, I don't know. Would it work if I don't have both of the stones, Morgan? I'm basically just creating a paired sending stone.
I'm okay with it. I'm not going to be super picky about it.
Okay.
Why not, right?
He's gonna reactivate it.
Just turning a walkie-talkie on and off.
Yeah. Just go. I don't know if you can hear this, but there's a house on the other side of the lake.
I say, yeah, I can hear you. On the other side above the water. And you hear me perfectly.
I thought he was underwater.
You also hear me perfectly.
Yes, above the water, apparently.
I turn to Sark and I say, hey, we should go back up. There's a house on the other side of the water that apparently you and I just didn't notice. Also, did you notice that these fish are not just dead and not rising, they're not moving at all? and they're sporadic. They're not localized. They're in random places throughout the lake. We should probably get to the top. And then I start swimming away, and you hear all of that like we were standing on dry land talking to each other.
Sarge just signs to you. What the fuck? Never mind.
I notice. Can I notice that out of the corner of my eye as I'm starting?
Make it. What's your passive?
14.
Yeah, totally.
I just over my shoulder. I toss back. You can just talk to me while we're down here. I can hear you. And again, you hear it perfectly normal.
Sark just kind of like uses the rope and half swims, half pulls himself up, but grabs one of the weird dead fish on his way.
Ooh.
Nice.
Nice.
So yeah, so you guys, the two come back up, and what are you guys gonna do?
As soon as I get out of the water, I prestidigitation, which removes all mud and muck and water from me. And my clothing, all of my armor is pristine and polished. The leather is oiled and conditioned for about 3 seconds, and then it rhymes over with salt stains and crusts of salt and oxidization.
I was about to say.
I was about to say the exact same thing. I was ready for it. It's awesome.
And then I start walking towards the house.
I want to come up, undo the rope, grab my stuff, and toss the fish at Elle and go, they're weird. Like, you're kind of weird.
Might be my favorite D&D relationship is Sark and L right now. Just period, right? It's just perfect.
Skjald,
Yes.
do we have any gifts to give? Or something to trade?
Do you have some cigars on me?
Probably have some tea.
Have tobacco and coffee.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I probably have a flask full of rum.
If we're in
Haven rum.
if we're in the land in between, are those things that are really going to be cared about?
Nate is having such a hard time separating from Sark at the moment.
Everybody loves a good drink or a good smoke.
My role earlier, would this apply to this since I remembered fucking everything about the Morgans? Or do you want me to roll?
Well, actually, the thing is that Jared's questions or Sid's question is more about the space of the in-between and not the Morgans.
Oh.
So that's a little bit different. But you rolled pretty well about the in-between. So
Okay.
I would say you would. So you don't know for sure, but you know that at some point, the customs, courtesies, hospitality laws, they came from somewhere.
Right.
They never, through almost every legend of Libwarth, nothing originated. Very few things originated on the planet itself when it comes to culture and courtesies and customs and stuff like that. So they came from somewhere.
I'm going to turn to Sid and I say, kings and pirates, gods and demons all bring gifts when they visit another's home.
That's pretty fucking good.
Oof.
Would Sark and I have a decent idea of what, like, the standard of gifts would be from working for the manager, given it's the manager?
Well, for you guys, usually when you bring a gift, it's a nice gift, right? It's usually provided to you something in the range of platinum worth, like it's worth platinum levels of money. But you guys, usually people of your level wouldn't have dealt with it, but be in kind of like the weird space that you kind of operated in before you left. You had been around to understand it. So it's like, I would say it's more about the courtesy of the gift, but the manager ensures that no matter what, there's no chance of insult, so he gives good gifts, right?
Morgan,
Yes.
would the bod that I received, as the book I received from our new friend, would that be like a first edition potentially signed?
Trying to remember which book I gave you.
The Saucy Limericks.
That's
Yeah.
right. No. Purely on
Fair.
the roll of the dice on that one. I like that. That was a good. That's a good. No, actually, you know what? I can't say that. It would have to be interest of him. So yes, it would probably be a first edition signed.
Nice.
Excellent.
And given what I know of alchemy, would I have an idea of how valuable the carrion crawler blood would be that we collected from the mushroom trip?
Oh, and the things that Scald explained to you, very, very valuable. So, go ahead.
I'll just tell the group I have two full vials and 3 half vials of carrion crawler blood, which I'm pretty sure would constitute something fairly valuable, particularly here.
So the party makes their way around. There's a little bit of, it's a little difficult to try and get past that because the rock outcropping comes directly into the water, right? So I'm gonna need everyone to make either an acrobatics or athletics check to see how well that you navigate crawling across that and see if you fall into the lake.
Fuck. What were my options?
Athletics or acrobatics?
21.
You're fine.
Acrobatics.
10.
You're fine.
Good.
25.
Fine.
18.
Fine.
Thank God I took it.
12.
You're fine. The DC was 9, so it's not like it was difficult, but I wanted to make sure everyone rolled dice. So as the rest of you make your way closer and closer to this house, at first glance it seems that it's unoccupied. The windows are dim. There doesn't seem to be any life going about it. If I can get everyone to make a perception check for me, please.
9.
Okay.
Not bad.
No, I'm sorry, 10.
Okay.
Also a 10.
Okay.
Sid rolled a 17.
Okay.
I got a 5.
Okay.
23.
Sid and Sark, you notice that the front door looks like it not only is it ajar, it's askance off its hinges. It's not sitting the way it's supposed to.
I will, instinctually, Sid holds up like a halt signal.
Just like you got it.
Yeah.
A raised fist.
And realizes probably not everyone probably has the military background to know what it is.
You would probably turn around to Sark signing the skull
Yeah.
about the door, just being like, spread out.
Yeah. And she kind of just like mouths, whispers, something's not right. Like just gives total body language as much as she can.
So actually, it wouldn't be a whisper. A whisper actually carries further. It would just be a really low, like this. Be like,
Yeah, low,
this is how
low.
you-
Hold up, guys.
Sark's going to sign. Basically, I'm going to the shadows around the left side of the house.
Before you go, I'm gonna sign back to you. Can we hide for 10 minutes?
I won't go far.
I hide somewhere out of sight, and as a ritual, I cast Comprehend Languages.
Okay.
And then I come back up 10 minutes later, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And I just turn to everybody else, and I'm like, I just give the okay, and I mouth really like enunciating but not speaking. I'm ready.
Okay.
And then after I do that, I just turn to Skeleton very, very like extremely quickly. I'm like, I'm ready with my hands, like faster than you could speak it verbally.
So what are you guys gonna do? Or how about this, Sark? How close do you want to get to the house as you're sneaking?
I'll stay about the same distance away as the rest of the group. As I
Cool.
can see I'm moving around to just kind of get an angle on the backside.
We'll say at this point, you guys are about 30 feet away from the house, just to simplify things.
Okay.
When they started doing stuff, I'll drop my small cannon again, just next to me.
Fuck. Sid feels like everyone's got things covered. Sid misty steps to the doorway.
Okay. As soon as Sid arrives at the door, the two windows on the front of the house light up. And as well as the light coming out of the door, you hear the sound. It like sounds like something's trying to break through wood and everything. And then all of a sudden, two legs emerge out of the bottom of the house as it begins to stand up and rise. And that's where we're going to pick up next session because
You know, like chicken legs?
Somewhat.
legs very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying to get you guys to it, but you guys got sidetracked by the light. Remember what I was saying earlier about traps and things that don't matter and players getting caught up into it? That happened.
You said there was weird dead fish. I had to go investigate the dead fish.
I mean, it's fair.
It's fair. I was trying.
Aquatically oriented character, you know,
So-
you was going to go in the water to try and see something.
So next time, Sid is going to be hanging on for dear life as the house of the three ladies goes for a little jaunt.
Sounds good. I love it.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
awesome, guys. That was. Sometimes though, it works out where you have a really good cliffhanger, right? That's a
Yeah,
really good.
no kidding. That's good. That's a great place to leave off.
So with that, as always, friends, family, thank you so much for joining us on this adventure of cooperative storytelling. We love having you here. Thank you so much to everyone who does listen to us week in and week out. We know that there's quite a few of you because we can't listen to it enough to make up the numbers that pop up on Spotify. So thank
That's
you.
exactly
We
right.
appreciate you guys so very much. As always, if you want to engage with us IRL, hit the link in the show notes. Get to our Discord. Get to our Instagram. Follow us on all of our other stuff. You can find us all my stuff is on the. You can find it in my profile on the Discord. But we love having you guys around. We love doing all this stuff. It's been really, really fun, and we hopefully continue to do this for as long as we can. Any quick shout outs before we wrap up for the evening?
Yeah, I just want to say we love all you scoundrels and scallywags so much. Appreciate you.
It sounds great. But so until next time, y'all,
Right?
drink well.
Drink.
Drink well.